Alright, welcome to your 1/6 inverse functions. Today what we're going to do is we're going to find some inverse functions informally. Like, we're not going to call them Mr. and Mrs. functions, they're just going to be functions. And then we're also going to verify that two functions are inverse functions of each other. We're going to use graphs to determine whether functions have inverses. We're also going to determine whether functions are one-to-one. If you do not have a function, it cannot be one-to-one. So just keep that in your back pocket. And then we're also going to find inverse functions algebraically. Woo! So a lot of this is going to be a little review for you from Algebra 1 and 2, actually. All right, so an inverse function. The main way you can find that is just by exchanging your x and y values of a function. Whenever you write an inverse function, you have to denote it, or write it, as f to the negative 1. So if you want to find inverse functions informally, the way you do that informally is just look at whatever function is given to you. So in this case, this is an f of x equals 8 times an x. So if we're going to find this informally, what is the opposite of multiplying? Well, since you asked, the opposite of multiplying is going to end up being dividing. So you could actually informally, very quickly, without having to do your 4 steps, just write this as f to the negative 1 of x, if you want to find the inverse. F to the negative 1 of x is equal to, well, the opposite of multiplication is dividing, so we can just say this is x over 8. And that would be your inverse informally. For example 2, you want to find some more functions informally. Now in this case, you actually have you have some multiplication. So you have multiplying and subtraction. So the opposite of subtracting and multiplying is going to be addition and division. Now when you do that though, you need to do your, it's just like solving an equation. You'd have to change your negative 1 first. So to write your function, your inverse, this would end up giving you an f to the negative 1 of x is going to end up being, you're going to have your x in your numerator. That doesn't move. You're going to be adding 1 instead, not 4. You're going to be adding 1, and instead of multiplying by 4, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be dividing everything by 4. So I personally don't really like doing stuff informally. I'm much more proper, a very formal person, as most of you might know. And so I would prefer to just find it using your 4 steps. It's a little bit easier because sometimes informal actions don't work out as hot. So if you don't want to do it informally, that's going to be okay, but I thought I still better show it to you. So there's your beginning of 1/6 inverse functions.